Welcome to the Saturday afternoon session of the CULTIEST Jehovah's Witness Convention. That's right, I've watched ahead and I can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that this convention was made exclusively to re-indoctrinate Jehovah's Witnesses and reinforce the control the cult has over them, making it the cultiest convention I have ever seen. And it starts by reminding you that this life isn't really worth living.
A man is on death row. He's scheduled to be executed tomorrow. Today, he gets to order whatever he wants for his last meal. Now, when he's deciding what to order, do you think he's going to concern himself with how much sugar is in that meal? Or sodium or carbs or whatever? No way. He has no future health to concern himself about. His only concern right now is whatever pleasure he can obtain immediately at the moment. Illustrating what? Well, a number of people actually feel very much like that man on death row because they reason, well, how long do we live? 70, 80 years? Life is short. So why are we going to concern ourselves with the future? The thing we want to do is obtain as much pleasure as we can out of life right now.
This is probably why I became a hedonist. Jehovah's Witnesses teach you that this life is short, but if you avoid the pleasures that this world can give you, you can live an everlasting life that is the actual life. This is one of the most depressive aspects of the Jehovah's Witness religion. Jehovah's Witnesses are taught that this life is only worth living if they dedicate it to the religion, and that they should be waiting to live their lives when paradise comes and they get everlasting life, not now. This persuades cult members to spend their lives in the cult, even if that doesn't bring them happiness or peace, because they're banking on enduring to get happiness and peace after they die. It's an extremely powerful indoctrination tool to keep members silent and subservient, and it's right on display in this talk.
So the world is on death row. But those who are serving Jehovah, he holds out this reward of everlasting life in the new world where all of our proper desires will be completely fulfilled. This prospect takes us off of death row. It means we don't have to go through life thinking this is my last meal. In fact, we do go through life making sure that we don't forfeit that beautiful reward of everlasting life just because we want to get something out of life right now. Nor do we want to do anything that distances us from our loving God who holds out that everlasting future to us.
And who decides what things separate you from God? Well, the governing body, of course. This session has just started, and the speaker is already reinforcing potent indoctrination rhetoric in every assistant. And he's about to go even deeper with another cult favorite, thought control.
Colossians chapter 3 warns against all forms of uncleanness. And that involves things that don't deal with waiting for later, but avoiding entirely. Like immoral fantasizing, like pornography, or similar provocative images.
Pornography and sexual fantasies are part of the loose definition of immoral conduct among Jehovah's Witnesses only because the governing body interprets it as such. There's absolutely no verse in the Bible condemning pornography, but control around sex and around thoughts is needed in cults, since those are your most intimate areas to control. If they can control your thoughts, they can condition you not to trust them, making your own mind untrustworthy. And instead of trusting your mind, the cult will direct you to trust them instead. See why this is the cultiest convention yet? Because although Jehovah's Witnesses have lost their ability to convert other people, in this convention they're using their most powerful re-indoctrination tools. I'm glad I had the chance to watch this convention multiple times because their most powerful tools are also the ones that fly unnoticed, especially on casual watching. But make no mistake, this is as culty as the Jehovah's Witnesses can get. This, to me, is worse than reminding members to shun others, because this is reinforcing the belief system that allows Jehovah's Witnesses to shun others in the first place, and that is to surrender your life, actions, and thoughts to the religion. Shunning videos may be uncomfortable to watch, sure, but that's precisely why they may wake people up. This rhetoric isn't as likely to wake anyone up, but is definitely more likely to reinforce indoctrination in any members listening.
So what if instead of waiting for a suitable marriage made in the truth, there arises an opportunity right now to enter into a relationship or develop a relationship with a non-believer? Beware, because marrying an unbeliever can cause and produce a lifetime of heartache. But you know something? So can marrying a believer. Marrying a believer if that believer is spiritually immature or emotionally immature. Now, would that be a sin? Would it be a sin to marry a believer who is just not spiritually stable? It wouldn't be a sin, no. But my, would it ever be unwise. If a person thinks it's better to marry a person with questionable spirituality than risk not marrying at all, think again, because more than a few are living in anguish, not because they married out of the truth, but because they married a believer whose faith was fragile, whose appreciation for spiritual things was shallow, and whose love for Jehovah was marginal. By contrast, others have waited until they could marry someone rich in faith and in appreciation and love for Jehovah. Their patience brought them not temporary pleasure, but a good and perfect and lasting gift. Decades later, they're still thanking Jehovah for each other. Be wise. Be patient. Wait until you can marry a person with genuine devotion to Jehovah and Jehovah's way.
The speaker glosses over marrying an unbeliever to talk about how it's equally as important to marry someone who is fully dedicated to the cult, so they can remain indoctrinated themselves. This is where the religion shows their pharisaical control over their followers, by going far beyond scripture to ensure followers remain under their control. And the thought control just keeps going, as the speaker tells their audience why they are wrong in wanting a better life.
So maybe you or I, right, we see a brother in our congregation and oh my, he seems to have it all. He really does. He has a great paying job. He has a lot of money. So he has the house and the car and the vacations and what have you, right? And he's active in the truth. Not only that, he might have some special privileges in the congregation. Now we're thinking, oh my, that's what I want. I don't want to wait till the new world. I want what he has. I want to have the whole thing right now. No, you don't. What you really want is contentment. That's what you're looking for. I've heard contentment defined as the ability to feel satisfied even though some of our desires are not fulfilled. Can you do that? Feel satisfied, even though some of your desires are not fulfilled. Tell you what, it's a key to happiness, and it is also a key to avoiding the snare of instant gratification.
This rhetoric just keeps getting worse and worse, telling Jehovah's Witnesses to be content with their lives instead of trying to improve them. This is how Jehovah's Witnesses stay in the cult, because this enlarges the sunken cost fallacy. After all, the more you've spent on something, the more you want it to be true, and you can't spend more than your entire life, which is what Jehovah's Witnesses are being taught to do with this monstrous speech.
All these bills, and so little we can afford. I can hardly breathe. Wait till you're married. That might never happen.
It's been hard since Monica died. It's good to talk to someone who understands me.
A promotion would fix all this.
She understands me.
Sometimes I wonder,
What would it be like to be with Marco? It's like everyone knows about sex, but me.
Okay. They'll want some evenings, weekends, my meetings, service, my kids. Maybe I could make it work.
Jehovah has always been there for me.
But I know why Jehovah tells us to wait. He doesn't deny us good things. He protects us, so we don't get hurt.
I know Jehovah understands me best. I want to stay close to him.
I know Jehovah knows what we need. And he will provide, because he promised it. And he always has. I am determined to wait patiently on my God.
And never do anything that would displease him.
Because his blessings are so worth the wait.
Here we see an older guy who can't get with the woman he likes because she's not a Jehovah's Witness. A girl who wants to date a schoolmate but she can't because the Bible says no sex. And a woman who rejects a promotion because it would interfere with her religious activities, despite her saying out loud that the promotion would fix every financial issue she has. This is the only thing in the Jehovah's Witness doctrine that's worse than shunning, because it keeps members in this state of suspended animation where they aren't fully living their lives because they're betting it on paying it off after they die. Shunning kills relationships, sure, but it doesn't affect every Jehovah's Witness. This is designed to pretty much kill every Jehovah's Witness, living not for themselves, but letting their actions and thoughts be dictated by their religion. This is a huge part of the abusive nature of cults, and it blows my mind that no one in the news or anywhere in the outside world seems to care. This is simply allowed to happen without any other retort that the retorts from some idiot on YouTube. It blows my mind.
Do you and I need to prepare in advance? Yes, we do. Why? Because the opportunities for immediate pleasure often arise unexpectedly, suddenly, without anticipating them sometimes. And if we're caught off guard, we might easily fall into rationalizing, or we might not even think at all. So yes, we do need to prepare in advance.
I mean, seriously, the speaker just told Jehovah's Witnesses to not rationalize their situation. How much more obvious can brainwashing get? The only reason why Jehovah's Witnesses get away with saying this is because they know exactly what to say and how to say it to make this overtly culty rhetoric sound boring to the untrained ear. And it's quite infuriating because the brainwashing just keeps going.
Well, moving on, the second way to resist the appeal of instant gratification is strengthen your faith in Jehovah's promises, especially Jehovah's promise of a new world. Now, it's true, like the video said, right now, Jehovah's blessing us with a lot. He's not holding back anything good, only warning us against what's harmful. However, our resistance is much stronger if we're looking forward to and counting on that new world. But even here, some might say, yes, but what if I pass on all the pleasures that this world has to offer, right? And then I don't make it into the new world anyway? I'd miss out on everything. How tragic is that? Now, that concern was addressed in the Watchtower, 1973, February 1, pages 71 and 81. Right? And it explained there that when Jesus' disciples approached him with a similar concern, he told them all things are possible with God, meaning that you can make it into the new world if that's what you really want, with Jehovah's help. With Jehovah's help, it doesn't matter what your past influence has been, your inherited tendencies, your upbringing, whatever. You are not so spiritually handicapped that you cannot meet Jehovah's basic standards for life and make it into the new world. You can make it, we each can, with Jehovah's help. So there's no reason to choose this world just in case.
They really are covering all their bases with this talk, aren't they? This addresses the one realization that Jehovah's Witnesses might have. That the Jehovah's Witnesses lifestyle is so repressive and unattainable that they may lose it all just due to a small sin, so they might as well just sin all their lives instead of living with the fear of sinning. And notice how the speaker can't refute that. His rebuttal is basically, well, you may not make it into the new world, but have you thought about how you can? That's a non-answer. He could have at least lied and say how the Jehovah's Witnesses' way of living is the best way of living even in the system of things or something. But instead, he presents a nonsensical argument that fails to address the premise. That's because he just stumbled into a very careful exercise of balance that the Jehovah's Witnesses have to do. They have to believe that they are almost about to lose their ticket to paradise. By keeping members in this state of distress, members remain active in the religion out of the anxiety of being about to lose their chance with every action they take, ensuring they only do what their religion tells them to do. But now, let's move on to a symposium that's equally as culty, but in a different way.
Let's imagine Abel growing up, seeing his parents struggle to get food to grow from the ground, and as a little boy, he's out exploring. And one day he sees this garden and every tree is full of food. He excitedly runs to tell his parents what he has found, and they explain to him, "We used to live there, and this is what happened." And they go on to relate to him the words of God.
But none of that happened in the Bible. It's insane how much the Jehovah's Witnesses add on to the Bible to make their point, because it can't actually be supported by the Bible. And now they're going to pretend Adam should have just patiently waited on Jehovah while she disfellowshipped Eve when she ate from the fruit.
As mentioned earlier, haughtiness can cause us to act rashly. That's what Adam did. He ate the fruit too, in order to maintain his relationship with his wife. He trusted his own judgment instead of patiently waiting on Jehovah. He didn't wait to see how Jehovah would support him, comfort him, help him deal with the discipline that his wife would receive. His acting haughtily caused harm to him and to others. As Romans chapter 5, verse 12 explains, through Adam, sin entered the world, and death through sin. And as a result, death spread to all men because we all sinned. We inherited it from Adam. Do you have a family member, a parent, a sibling, some other relative who has stopped serving Jehovah and is disfellowshipped?
And we can see where this unbiblical lesson is going already, but did you catch the cut? I didn't do that cut, and Jehovah's Witnesses don't usually cut videos, not even to remove bad takes, believe me. They only do it when they have something to hide. Right before this convention happened around the world, the Rebecca Vardy documentary premiered, where she talks about the damage that the Jehovah's Witnesses caused through their shunning policies. And apparently, Jehovah's Witnesses didn't want to prove her right with the video that was supposed to be shown here. So the videos that were supposed to be played right now were directed to be deleted the day after the documentary premiered. That's why this is the only talk in the entire symposium without any videos. But let's see what Jehovah's Witnesses were meant to see if the leadership weren't pussies.
Mom's disfellowshipping still feels so raw.
Elsa, please speak up. I miss you so much. I just want to hear your voice.
It's such a struggle. I miss her. She taught me the truth, gave me a stable life. She was my closest friend. What's the harm in just calling once in a while? To chat. Maybe I can even help her to come back to Jehovah.
This video was uploaded to my channel as soon as it leaked without any commentary to see if Watchtower would copyright claim it. They didn't. They did claim my video on the Pillow videos, which was released unceremoniously after I gave them all my private information to start a legal process. I'm not trying to get into any conspiracies here, but suffice to say, the Jehovah's Witness leadership doesn't want these videos out there. Let's see if you can spot where the next video was cut from.
If so, imitate Abel. Patiently rely on Jehovah. A haughty spirit may cause us to think, what's the harm in calling once in a while to chat? Maybe I can help the person come back to Jehovah. That is haughty thinking.
Did you catch it? This one was more obvious, I feel. Let's watch the resolution to this story.
Abel was essentially a spiritual orphan, but regardless of what his parents chose, he listened to Jehovah and patiently waited on him to fulfill his promises.
I never thought of it that way. What has Jehovah promised me if I patiently wait? Spiritual brothers, sisters, and mothers. If I focus on what I do have and wait patiently, someday what I don't have may even come back to Jehovah.
That's right. Shunning parents is what you need to do. Because you wouldn't want your dirty parent that's not in the religion when you can replace them with someone in the religion. Also, I watched these videos for the first time in the Old Worldly channel, and I almost missed that part because I was too busy laughing at the video.
Spiritual brothers,
What?
sisters,
I think... Okay, I know I said we'd watch this.
So, who knows? Maybe that's why it got caught. But make no mistake, the direction to shun family members who leave the cult is still overt.
Whoever therefore has greater affection for father or mother than for me is not worthy of me. And whoever has greater affection for son or daughter than for me is not worthy of me. How do we apply these words? Well, if we have a difficult family situation, a member of our family is disfellowshipped, our affection for them should not be greater than our affection for Jehovah and Jesus.
Jehovah's Witnesses apply the words of Jesus saying who was worthy of him by equating the religion with Jesus. So they can't even fathom the possibility of a cult member leaving and remaining a good Christian. The speaker almost forgot to make that equivalency when he had to add "and Jesus" at the end, because this isn't a Christian religion. This is a religion about Jehovah, the cruel Abrahamic God that will kill your family members if they aren't in his religion. The speaker said it himself. Your love for the religion has to be greater than your love for your own family, because that's what God wants.
You fight me on everything.
You're wrong about that. That is not true.
Yes, that is true. You know I'm trying to hold this all together here.
I'm so tired of this.
Every day the same thing.
fight. Argue. Bicker. Then silence.
Meanwhile, the global financial meltdown continues to plague stocks as market prices drop drastically once again today. China's government suspended trading early in fears of a sell-off, and the European markets have begun placing...
30 years. And this is what it's come to? I just want it to end. We'd probably be happier divorced anyway.
This is a common situation among Jehovah's Witnesses. Since many of them marry young to have sex, and since there aren't many options in the religion, a lot of people get married that are just not for each other. This leads to a lot of incompatible marriages among the religion. But this religion is completely anti-divorce, and divorcing and marrying someone else is definitely a cause for shunning. The Jehovah's Witness solution to this problem is a solution to every problem. Do nothing but indoctrinate yourself and others, and wait until Jehovah brings a solution.
You don't understand. I need this by the end of the day, on my desk, or there's going to be some consequences. You know what? I've heard enough. Goodbye.
Miles divorced about 2 years ago, and even remarried. He doesn't seem any happier. Marriage isn't easy. But I've become so impatient, so focused on my wants, my needs. Maybe the problem isn't who I'm with, but who I've become. With prayer, Jehovah's help, and assistance from the elders, I'm seeing the part that I need to play to improve our relationship. Our issues won't be fixed overnight. We're a work in progress. But we're learning to be more patient, more loving. And we're committed to working on it together.
This is what Jehovah's Witnesses love to do. Present a common problem being solved with a solution that doesn't work. Jehovah's Witnesses are told that the solution to every problem is more indoctrination, but when that doesn't work, they blame themselves, not the indoctrination. The indoctrination can only be perfect in their minds, the panacea to every problem. This view is seen all over their propaganda and keeps them from seeing the truth, that it's the religion the one causing problems, not the one solving them.
When we are patient, we make better decisions. Yes, before making any decision, remember to stop first to consider, is it in harmony with God's word? Stop and consider, am I putting my will ahead of Jehovah's? Stop, consider, will this affect my relationship with Jehovah and others?
And there you have it. What matters is that you put the will of Jehovah first, which means act accordingly with what the religion tells you to do. This is so important that Jehovah's Witnesses fail to see there's nothing in the Bible telling you to place this blind trust in any human or religion, and works wonders to ensure every waking moment is lived for the religion, not the person.
Moses and Korah stand in sharp contrast. Moses, he likely had many sacred duties as a Kohathite Levite, and he likely participated in the transportation of these sacred utensils. But something about Korah didn't recognize that there were limits to his privileges. He had much yet to learn, And rather than patiently seek Jehovah's direction, Korah challenged it. He rose up against those who were in authority in the congregation of Israel, and it had some terrible results. The account in Numbers 16:1-3 shows that Moses disrespectfully approached Korah disrespectfully approached Moses and said to him, "That is enough of you. Why should you lift yourselves up above the congregation?" Such disrespect.
Yeah, and he had killed along with his family, and Jehovah told everyone not to mourn them because they had messed with Moses. This otherwise obscure story is a Jehovah's Witness favorite because, as we mentioned before, this isn't a Christian religion. It instead follows the radical Abrahamic God. And this is probably the only scripture in the entire Bible they can use to support their religion. To Jehovah's Witnesses, everyone who is quoting the Bible was a proto-Jehovah's Witness. So, since Moses was leading the people back then, he was a proto-governing body. This is obviously a false equivalence, but they love to bring out this intolerant scripture when they need to remind Jehovah's Witnesses of their most intolerant views.
So, if there's no other comments, it looks like we're all in agreement. Mario will take over for Tomas as the field service group overseer. And I think that's the last item. So maybe, Brother Leon, could you offer the closing prayer?
Yeah. Our Father Jehovah.
Mario? Seriously? He's practically a kid. He's barely been serving a year.
We all love Jehovah very much, and we all want to do what we can in his service.
Sure, he gives a good talk. But he's not ready for this kind of responsibility. That's an assignment I definitely have the experience for. And now I'm stuck being his assistant? This is going to be a mess.
Jehovah's Witnesses have been told to appoint men as young as in their early 20s to be elders. So this, again, will be a problem that will ring true to many Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's insane how they slipped and called ministerial servants assistants to elders, since that's basically what they are, unpaid, glorified assistants. However, since this man is viewing things objectively, he is in the wrong. We'll learn that instead of looking at things objectively, he solved this issue with, you guessed it, indoctrination, and waiting on a magical being to solve things.
Still disappointed?
Just doesn't make sense.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I think you'd have done great in that assignment.
Thanks.
But give Mario a chance.
Okay. I will. With time, I saw exactly why Mario was being used like this. I just had to be patient and check my ego. So I could see what Jehovah sees. And appreciate the privileges I do have.
Much better. Our brother now sees things as how Jehovah sees. He checked his ego. He's now more patient and he's focusing on the privileges he has.
This is the unrealistic solution to the realistic problem. Wait and see not how you see things, but how Jehovah sees things, which basically means learn to agree with the religion. If you don't agree with the religion, it cannot be that the religion is wrong. That possibility isn't even present here. It can only be that your ego is getting in the way. You can't have a problem with the religion. The problem can only be you. But the next speech in the symposium can't be that culty, can it?
It's been said that patience is more than just the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. As Christians, that good attitude involves humility and patience, humility and modesty. Why? Because as Christians, our patience will be tested. There will be times when we'll be given direction we'll find difficult to obey.
The dude opened by saying how you'll have to obey the religion even when you disagree with it. Come on, how come no one cares? This is what Jehovah's Witnesses are learning at the convention this year.
So, based on current direction from the branch, it seems best that we implement the adjustment that we discussed. Here's one approach we could take.
I'd never consider handling the situation this way. And when you look at the direction, to me, it could be interpreted a number of ways. We'll probably be right back here on his next visit, having to fix all this.
Can I get your thoughts on something?
Sure.
The SEALs direction. You've been serving for years. Does this approach make sense to you?
This is an interesting predicament. Jehovah's Witnesses are being taught here not to be honest, but to be compliant, even if that goes against your judgment. So this guy would have to not only be compliant, but explain why someone else should be compliant too.
Jehovah does take pleasure in our sacrifices. He values them, but what he values more is our obedience. To obey is better than a sacrifice. Perhaps we can illustrate it this way. Is oxygen, water, and food equally important to you? They're important, but are they equally important? Maybe you love food. Maybe you're a foodie. Or maybe you have a particular form of brand of water that you especially like. But are they equally important? We can live up to a week or more without food, a few days without water, but only a few minutes without oxygen. So of the three, oxygen, food, water, which is the most important? It's clear. It's oxygen. Because without oxygen, we cannot live. And that's what Jehovah is saying to us here. He has a value system, a set of priorities. Yes, he values our sacrifices, but what he values more is our obedience. See, it's not enough for us to say, I love Jehovah. He's the most important person in my life. We must prove it by obeying Jehovah in everything, not just in the things that we like. Because if we do not cultivate obedience, we will not have Jehovah's approval. If we do not cultivate obedience, we will not live forever.
Obedience to Jehovah is obedience to his religion. This is extremely manipulative. A guy in a suit telling people through a screen that obedience to their religious leader is as important as the oxygen they breathe. But it's worded so well that this will never hit the news. There's rarely propaganda as overt as this one from the Jehovah's Witnesses. But as I've mentioned before, this kind of strong propaganda will be less likely to wake people up and more likely to push people in. See why this is the cultiest convention Jehovah's Witnesses have put out there?
Does this approach make sense to me? If I'm honest, no. In fact, I struggled with it through the whole meeting. That's why I just needed a moment to get my mind right.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I had to remind myself of something. And this scripture came to mind. Read verse 22.
Look, to obey is better than a sacrifice, and to pay attention than the fat of rams. Okay, I get that, but maybe he hasn't thought it all through.
Well, you know, we all give our thoughts on the matter. And ultimately, the circuit overseer gave direction based on what he got from the branch office. I just had to remind myself that it's not about me or what I think. In fact, I just need to be patient Obey the direction. The rest is up to Jehovah.
You're right. Thanks.
Trust me, I needed that reminder from Jehovah just as much as you.
I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Sure.
You have any plans on?
Did you hear? The circuit overseer got direction from the branch, which is Jehovah's Witness, to say these orders came from way up. So it doesn't matter if people here didn't think things through. What matters is that they obey, because nothing bad can come out of obeying people. Just because there's a random Bible verse that explains how other people had to obey their God thousands of years ago. And when you're in a cult, following men is how you follow God. And obedience has to come even in the tiniest of matters.
My wife had some plans with these other two sisters, so that'll be a good group. For our next group, Francis, brother and sister Kenny, and brother Hodges will be the next group. And that just leaves myself.
I love Brother Hodges and brother and sister Kenny. But today, I just want to be with my friends. Besides, Brother Madison just got here, and he'd love to be in this group. It's fine. When the meeting's over, I'll just make my own arrangements and jump in with my friends.
From your reaction, we understood it's realistic.
Yes, this guy is already doing work for free for the cult. He already woke up early, probably during his weekend. Not that this is real, I get this is a dramatization. He showered and got ready to spend the entire morning working for free for their religion. He's already doing everything for the cult. The only thing he wants is to do it alongside his friends. But obviously, he will not be given even that tiny room to decide for himself. Obedience to the religion must be absolute.
Well, we said he's the head of the congregation. Jesus organized congregations because he wants to take care of you. And one way he wants to take care of you is by making sure that there are well-qualified elders appointed in the congregation to support you. So when we see the direction, the scriptural counsels of the elders as if coming from Jehovah, well, then don't you think we're saying to Jesus that we see the arrangement, we see things his way, Jehovah's way, and that we're ready to support that? It tells him that. That's how we support him in the congregation.
The speaker just equated obeying the direction of elders with obeying Jesus. He literally came out and said that obedience to the religion is the same as obedience to Jesus himself. There's nothing for me here to debunk. All I can do is point out just how culty and manipulative this is. And the speaker is about to give us a chilling example of how that looks like in action.
Say, for example, you become aware or you become the victim of an injustice in the congregation. The elders have been informed. Now what? Now patience. These things take time to be resolved properly as per Jehovah's arrangement. And we don't take things back into our own hands because it takes time. We want to give Jehovah's arrangements a chance, right? And once it's done properly, it's always for everybody's good, for the greatest good of all.
This is exactly their issue with child sex abuse in one clip. This is how Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to act. I hope I see this clip in a documentary one day, because this is how Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to react to an injustice committed against them in the congregation. Inform the elders and passively wait and do nothing else. If you try to warn the police or something like that, you're taking matters into your own hand and are not a good Jehovah's Witness. Being a good Jehovah's Witness involves supporting injustices in silence instead of looking for actual justice. And remember, none of this is in the Bible.
Not that one, honey. It's the other one.
Wait, what am I doing? I'm so focused on what I want. I'm not considering what others need. These weren't the arrangements I hoped for. But what kind of example would I be setting? Or blessing would I get if I do my own thing? Brother Kenny, can I help you with that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
You're welcome, Sister Kenny.
Thank you, Francis. Our arthritis is acting up today. I think having you with us is a answer to our prayers.
Brother Kenny, I love working with you and Sister Kenny.
And to reinforce the propaganda, it just so happens that the elderly couple was praying for a young man to go with them preaching door to door. This is the unrealistic solution to the realistic problem. You suck it up and realize that you sucking it up was part of God's plan all along. That's how the leadership gets away with demanding this level of obedience, because it pretends God is the one behind the decisions men take.
As the world grows more unstable, we may face sudden changes of circumstances that test our faith and loyalty. The featured drama you are about to see is based on real experiences of our brothers and sisters. We invite you to put yourself in the scene as you watch the drama, Commit Your Way to Jehovah, Part 1.
This is how this year's drama, a movie Jehovah's Witnesses make for their conventions, is introduced. We've already watched this drama before in a live stream, but I didn't know they plain out came out and said this drama is based on true events to make it scarier. And this has to be one of their most disgusting dramas they've ever made, since it's all about fear-mongering to get Jehovah's Witnesses to obey the cult. Yes, they're getting better at movie making, and yes, I dig the intro song. I feel conflicted because this drama is truly better than most other dramas made by them, which makes it easier to watch, but will also make it more efficient at indoctrination among Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hey, Dad, what type of wood is this?
This is Tamboti. You know, Jehovah made it strong and durable. Hey, just like you, my own bee.
Just like you, Dad.
Thank you. Come back again. Hey, look, the brothers. Hey. Oh, Maombi. How are you, sir?
Hey,
Nice to
Uncle.
see you.
How
Good
are
to see
you?
Brother sir. How you doing? How was your day?
Oh, good, good. How about service?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Papa Moose, are you still coming for dinner tonight?
Of course.
Guess what? He's staying for family worship too.
Inuko will drop me off when we finish.
Okay, thanks, Inoko. You know the invitation is still open for you.
Thanks so much, Amani.
Yeah? Okay. All right, brothers. You brothers have a good one.
Okay, see you
Enjoy
soon.
service.
Say hi to the family.
Hi, Faraja.
Hey, Sifa.
Oh, thank you. Oh, how are you doing?
Good. How are you two doing?
Oh, the baby kept me up all night.
Oh, kicking again, huh?
Yes. How's the family doing today?
Oh, we're doing good.
Oh.
Amani is making dinner. We have family worship today too, so
Oh.
yeah.
You and Amani are such good parents. Always teaching. Oh.
It takes a lot of patience and practice. But don't worry, you're going to be a great mother. I can already tell.
Thank you.
And you won't be alone. We'll be here to help you. We want to help you teach your child about Jehovah. You're part of our family now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sifa.
Hey, Amani.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Are you gonna be staying for dinner?
No. I just wanted to say hi. Are we still on for our Bible study tomorrow?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. See
Okay.
you.
Bye, Sifa.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you.
You're doing so great with her.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see her get baptized.
I pray so.
Yeah. Let me go finish up dinner.
Okay, I'll come inside and help you.
This is how we're introduced to most of our main characters, who are all one-dimensional, so we won't bother learning their names. The only growth you're allowed to have in these dramatizations is to become closer to the religion, and the characters are so wooden that they rarely have memorable moments. We meet Dad, who's an elder, his wife, who is such a good Jehovah's Witness wife, she somehow brought pregnant lady into the cult, and the kids, who obviously love hearing boring things about Jehovah. Whether it's Caleb and Sophia, a drama in biblical times, or this drama, this will always be the archetypical family in good standing in the Jehovah's Witness religion. An elder dad, a mom fully involved in the cult, and kids who are constantly indoctrinated to replace their parents in the religion later.
Ooh, smelling good.
Thank you.
It's Uncle Dania.
Hey.
Uncle Dania, how are
Wow, good. How are you? Good. Wow, growing tall every day.
Dunia.
Dunia. That's my brother. Hey, so what brings you by?
Came to see the family, of course. Plus, I wanted to bring you a gift, too.
Oh.
Yeah. And now we need to talk. Have something for us to talk about.
Okay, kids, let's go. Let's give them some privacy.
Okay.
You don't have to bring a gift every time you come to visit.
I want to, my brother. Here.
This is nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is too much.
Amani, this is nothing. I actually got an upgrade. You can use this one.
Okay.
I'm glad you like it. Amani, there's something we have to talk about. Let me ask, how steady has your work been lately?
My carpentry work has been slow, but we're getting by. You know, Mombi and I, we sell wood carvings at the market for some extra income. You know?
Wow. Amani, look at what you've done on our land. You're a good carpenter. You built this house. And you have a beautiful family too. If Mom and Dad were alive, they would be very proud of you. You know what I'm thinking, Amani? With your skill set, you could have more. I'm talking about real security for you and the family. A real government carpentry contract. See, just look here. This is the amount we can be making.
Yes?
Yes, for real. All you need to do, Amani, is just...
Yeah. No, not a party card. You know I can't sign this. Wait, you didn't sign me up, did you?
I know what you're thinking about, Amani. See, you don't have to involve yourself with the political leaders. You don't even have to attend any of the rallies. You know what? Forget it. I'll take care of this one. Basically, you'll be working for me. So don't worry about the card. All I need you to do is just sign here. And this becomes a reality for us. Amani, you know I love you. And if you become successful, I will be very happy. I have to get back. But just think about it. And think about the family too. Hmm?
The introduction of the conflict in the form of a party card is pretty on the nose, since it will surely remind many people who know about the history of the religion about the Malawi scandal, where Jehovah's Witnesses were victimized because they were told they weren't allowed to carry the party card in a one-party state, which basically turned them against the government for no reason. While at the same time, the same governing body was saying it was okay for Mexicans to avoid military service if they paid corrupt officials to skip the military service, which not only made them dishonest, it made them part of the military's reserves, a far more political position than getting one card from the government.
So tonight, we're going to continue with our study of the account of Joseph. Remember last week we discussed how Joseph was wrongly accused, and yet he was able to make peace with his brothers.
Thank you, Dad. She needs to hear this.
Papa Musa.
Yes, may I share a verse that has always meant a lot to me?
Please do.
This is one of my favorite. Psalm 37, verse 5. Commit your way to Jehovah. Rely on him, and he will act in your behalf. For me, this is exactly what Joseph had to do. But do you remember how long Joseph had to endure slavery and imprisonment in Egypt?
13 years.
Yes, Maombi. Even longer than you have been alive. So, what helped Joseph to be patient all those years? Well, think back to the verse. Commit your way to Jehovah. Joseph didn't know how everything would turn out, and a lot of things were out of his control. When Joseph committed his way to Jehovah, Jehovah always acted in his behalf. Even in prison, Jehovah was always with him. If we prayerfully rely on Jehovah, Jehovah will act in our behalf.
That's a beautiful point, Musa. Thank you. So, children, how can we apply that verse today?
Well, we can pray to Jehovah for courage, just like Joseph's did in the original song.
Can we sing it tonight?
Yes, Zoadi. A little later, though. But you're right, Maombi. Prayer is very essential, especially for a family, if we're going to endure these last days.
What about Uncle Dania? Does he pray to Jehovah?
No, maybe. But we can look into his heart.
Yeah. Musa taught us both when we were boys, so he knows about Jehovah. But no one can make him love Jehovah.
Yes, I remember those days. Your father and Uncle Dania, they were trouble. Both of them were so independent. I wish I had done more to help Dunia.
We haven't given up on him yet. Okay, children, let's keep digging. Let's continue with the account of Joseph to see what else we can learn from the second part. Can we take turns as characters?
I want to read Joseph's part.
Okay, let's do that. Genesis chapter 40, and Zoadi will be Joseph.
What you just saw was a family spending time indoctrinating themselves and hoping the uncle, who left the religion, indoctrinates himself as well so he isn't deserving of destruction in Armageddon. That's how Jehovah's Witnesses see people who aren't into religion, as potential converts or Armageddon fodder. And here, children are being indoctrinated into seeing their own uncle like that, instead of as part of their family, simply because he isn't in the religion anymore.
Free shirt. Take this one. This one fit you.
No,
Take this one.
no,
This one.
thank you.
Show your support for Bakari,
No.
man. Show your support for
No,
Bakari.
appreciate it. No, thank you.
Look at how the dad physically pushes away someone who just wants to talk about politics with them. Jehovah's Witnesses would claim they were being mistreated if they were treated the same way when going door to door. But to Jehovah's Witnesses, this isn't out of the ordinary. People in politics are disgusting and shouldn't even be heard for a moment.
Got one shirt for you, just for you. Free shirt. Free shirt.
Come on, Maombi. Free shirts?
Dad, can I play some music?
Yeah, sure, grab it.
View 93.6. As an update to our report from yesterday, militia groups are threatening to take over the capital. Violence has been escalating in the area.
Nah,
Now let's go to our correspondent.
there's no need to worry. Okay?
But will they come here?
No. These are just threats, rumors. There's nothing to it. Listen, change the station. Why don't you play us some music? Oh, yes.
We humbly come before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, brother, so much for making the time to come tonight so we can talk about an important matter. As you are aware, the branch has recommended that we meet and discuss the possibility of civil unrest in our area.
You know, just yesterday, the marketplace was buzzing.
There will always be rumors surrounding the elections.
But you know, I even heard of some reports on the radio.
I want us to see what the threat is in our area and what we can do for the friends so we can help them if they decide to flee.
Wait, did they direct us to leave or ask us to think about it? Well, they have advised us to have a plan. The way people are feeling about the current leadership now, it's just a matter of time that a conflict will come in this area. The safety of the congregation is the concern.
Yes, I agree with that. And, I've heard about the violence of these militias towards other tribes.
But is it worth alarming the congregation? Has anyone actually seen anything out of the ordinary here?
This is serious. Where there is smoke, there's fire.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. Telling the friends to flee now? Brothers, I've been through this before. And trust me, there isn't even smoke here. Doesn't this seem a bit hasty?
Listen to what that character is saying. He's being reasonable, he has experience on the matter, he has lived there for longer, and he knows the situation better. Unfortunately, his knowledge puts him in opposition to what the religion has directed them to do. So he is looked down upon when he voices his concerns. I mean, just look at the contempt that his fellow elder has towards him just because he disagreed with the religion. This is how you're supposed to act if you want to stay passive about it. And we're about to see the only other option a Jehovah's Witness has, to take action against the dissonant voice.
Yes, Musa.
Brothers, we may differ in our opinions. But remember, we are still one body. Think about the times that we live in. These are the last of the last days. So we expect that these conditions would increase. Proverbs 22, verse 3. Remember, it tells us, the shrewd one sees the danger and conceals himself. So it is shrewd to prepare the congregation mentally and spiritually.
Thank you so much, Musa. You've helped us to have a unified thought in this matter. So if it is okay with you, brothers, I have an exit plan. I brought a map of our territory and where the brothers and sisters live and where they can flee to. Let's look at it together.
So the grandpa reminded them that they are one body and that their religion is apocalyptic. So if their religion tells them the situation is getting worse, that can only be true and they have to suck it up if they disagree. This is how you're supposed to react to any dissonant voice in the religion. Don't interact with their arguments. Just remind them that they are supposed to obey the religion no matter what.
Time for bed.
Okay.
You want your bed?
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, big guy. It's getting late. Time for bed.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Amani, wake up! We have to go right now.
I've been through this before. And trust me, there isn't even smoke here.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I keep thinking about what my family experienced when I was young. We had to run for our safety. At least that's what we thought we were doing.
Yeah.
But when we left, we lost everything. For what? For nothing. And just like that, The conflict passed. That was it.
Is that happening now? Would we have to flee?
We received direction from the branch. Those brothers are so far away, though. I keep wondering if they are being overly cautious. Maybe for the brothers in the city. But for us here, is that the right decision?
I don't know. Would we have to go to a camp?
I think about Musa. He would not be able to make such a trip.
I'm thinking about Sifa too.
You know, around the elections, these tensions always seem to pop up. But overall, things are pretty stable around here, don't you think? I mean, Dunia offered me a contract. This work is guaranteed.
Amani, this is more money than we've ever had.
This could be a blessing from Jehovah.
We wouldn't have to scrape by.
If we were to leave now, this opportunity will go with it. The door will be shut. The whole point of us building this house was to give our children a better life. I just don't want them to experience what I went through.
Amani, I'm worried.
Trust me. In a couple of weeks, this thing will just blow over.
You think so?
Yeah, just wait. You'll see.
The dad presents a compelling case to his wife. He has had to do this before when he was a kid, only to go back and lose everything. The brothers who are telling him to flee are too far away to be as informed as he is. His father wouldn't be able to make the trip to the refugee camp for some reason, and they would lose their way of living just when it's about to pay off. To us, any of those are solid reasons that someone should weigh and keep in mind. To our Jehovah's Witnesses, those are useless rationalizations that should be discarded to instead obey without question. And he's about to be reminded of the same thing.
Amani?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Oh.
Your brother sent me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the stools, right?
For the stools.
Let me get them for you.
Yes. Your brother said you did good work.
Of course, I do by myself. Got my tools right here.
Nice.
Yeah, here you go.
How much for 4 of them?
For the 4, 105.
105. Can we do 100?
You know, I'll take 100.
100? Okay.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Greetings, Faraja.
Papa Musa.
Children, how are you all?
Good.
How are you? Wonderful. Look like you're ready for school, huh?
Now pack your book bag so we can go, okay?
How are you, my dear?
Good.
It's good to see you. It's a beautiful day. Oh, Jehovah is good to us. I was wondering, is Amani in?
No, he's putting in another long day at the market.
Ah, shame. I was hoping I could talk with him. Yeah, he's been on my mind lately.
You know, I'm kind of worried about him too. All this talk about fleeing is bringing back a lot of bad memories for him.
Yes, I remember those days. It was tough on them.
Yeah. But it looks like things are calming down, getting back to normal, so I'm thankful for that.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to Amani about. You see, some of the family heads, they're deciding to leave.
Really? Why? Do you think things are getting worse?
You never know about these things. But we have to remain watchful.
This is News Radio 93.6. As an update to our reporting from yesterday, the leaders from both sides have agreed to meet and discuss bringing peace to the region. The talks are set for tomorrow morning. Now let's go to our correspondent who's at Studio B. May we ask, what led up to these negotiations? What can you tell us?
Yes, many have been fleeing the violence to find safety across the borders. But with peace talks,
His father only showed up to make sure he was complying with the orders they received from the religion, because that's what they are, orders. As this drama makes clear, obeying should never be up to you. And since this is religious propaganda, we're about to see what happens when you're a reasonable person and don't follow the orders given to you by the religion.
You got this?
Yep.
Let's do it.
What's up?
We need to go.
Dad, we just got here.
I know, but we're leaving.
Amani!
Dunia.
My brother, how are you? You have to meet this man. Bakari!
No,
Bakari!
Dunia, wait. I wanted to talk to you about it.
You meet him first.
Dunia, my man.
Yeah, that's my brother.
So, you are Amani.
Yes.
I hear you are quite talented.
Very much.
Thank you.
We're excited to work with you. And that must be your boy.
Hello.
Are you ready to work with your dad before this new work and huge contract coming his way? You are our country's future. Remember that.
Thank you. Listen, Dunia, I'm sorry. I appreciate this offer, but I can't accept it.
He doesn't know what he's saying now. We can still work out the details, and then he'll come back. He's okay.
See all those people out there?
Yeah.
They would love to work with me. This is not an offer you refuse. And you said this was all done and you had it all covered.
He'll be fine.
Fix it! And don't waste my time.
Dunia, you have to let me explain.
Explain what, Amani? How could you embarrass me like that in front of him?
You don't understand.
Understand what? This is a lifetime deal for the family. You see why I don't bring big contract to you? I can't believe you. How could you refuse that?
Hold on.
In front of him. I can't believe this.
Yakobo. You there?
Just look at the hatred that dad has towards the politician, even placing himself between him and his kid. And also, who called him to let him know that the protest was about to start? We see what looks like a confrontation between the politician and some armed dudes who are in the other party because they have blue bandanas instead of red, so we know they're in the other party. But if even the politician didn't know about this, who the hell called the main character to warn him, and why did they wait until the last second? This makes no sense, but it reinforces the main lesson of this drama. Obey the religion without question, because if you don't, you will suffer. I thought the convention was supposed to talk about patience? We'll see the rest of the drama in the Sunday afternoon session, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out. For now, let's turn our attention to the last part of this culty convention. Mark Sanderson, who is here in his blue suit to talk about how persecution means Jehovah's Witnesses are the only one true religion.
How did you feel in 2017 when you heard that the work in Russia had gone under ban? Can you imagine? Our beautiful branch office was taken by the authorities. Our brothers and sisters all had their kingdom halls seized across the country. I was standing in the courtroom when the judge read that decision. And I have to tell you, it was a sobering moment. But now here's a question. Even though it was sobering, was it completely surprising? Well, not so, because the scriptures make it so plain to us that all true Christians must endure persecution. Now, I want to go through with you 3 scriptures. Let's go through them quickly. Here's the first one, John chapter 15 and verse 20. That's where Jesus said, if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Pretty straightforward, right? What about 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 12? That's where the Apostle Paul said, all, did you get that word? All those desiring to live with godly devotion in association with Christ Jesus will also be persecuted. And how about Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10? It says, do not be afraid of the things that you're about to suffer. Look, the devil will keep on throwing some of you into prison. So the scriptures make it very, very clear that all of those who want to be servants of Jehovah are going to experience persecution.
This is why persecuting religious cults doesn't work, because it only reinforces the indoctrination of the members. Most cults believe they're doing something so special that inevitably the world will turn against them. So when the world realizes the damages that the cult causes, the cult can say, see, told you, this proves we're doing what we need to be doing. Instead of persecuting them, what every government should do is what the Netherlands did. Remove their privileges as a religious organization and make them pay taxes just like every other corporation out there. Members can die for their religion, and that will fully be okay by them. But the religion cannot lose money and be okay. That's how you legislate against them. Hit them in their pocket, not in their members.
Well, as of this year, 2023, our work is either banned or restricted in 33 different lands. This affects the worship of hundreds of thousands of our brothers and sisters who are just like you and me, just ordinary people who want to serve God. And as of today's date, May 13, 2023, over 189 of our faithful brothers and sisters are imprisoned because of their faith. If you want to keep up to date with that, go to jw.org and go to the page Jehovah's Witnesses Imprisoned for Their Faith. Those figures are updated all the time.
As you can see, persecution is so important and so effective for the cult, they keep their members updated constantly, letting them know how many Jehovah's Witnesses have been persecuted. But they not only use persecution through numbers, they also use it through their propaganda.
Before I was baptized, based on my father's example and the Bible truths that I had learned, I believed that maintaining Christian neutrality was the right thing to do. That's why I refused military training. I received a 2-year sentence and was then transferred to prison. I thought I would meet other brothers, but in my location, there was not a single brother there. Living with inmates in a cramped cell, I often experienced emotional issues.
Jehovah's Witnesses aren't allowed to participate in any military training, and in South Korea, military training is mandatory. South Korea also offers voluntary work instead of military service for conscience objectors, but the Jehovah's Witness leadership decided that's not good enough for Jehovah's Witnesses. So witnesses in South Korea have two options. They either do the voluntary or military service and get disfellowshipped and shunned, or they spend 18 months in jail instead. This has led to over 20,000 Jehovah's Witnesses being imprisoned since 1950. Not only is this an extreme form of control over Jehovah's Witnesses, it's completely unbiblical. Jehovah's Witnesses believe going to jail is better than working for the army in any capacity, but that is completely foreign on the Bible. When military officers went to John to get baptized, he didn't tell them to leave the military service. Instead, he told them to be satisfied with their provisions and to not harass anybody, which kinda sounds like John was only asking them to not take advantage of the authority that they had as military officers. Cornelius, who commanded Roman soldiers, was baptized by Paul without having to give up his military position. You could be an early Christian and be a part of the military at the same time. This is only one more example of how pharisaical and controlling the Jehovah's Witness religion is, even when they have to go against the Bible.
The search lasted 12 hours.
After that, Aliptina was taken to a temporary detention facility, and I was interrogated until 2 in the morning. I said that I had a serious illness, and therefore I needed to eat. But in spite of that, they didn't allow it.
For 4 months, we did not see each other at all.
Again, persecuting Jehovah's Witnesses individually is shown to only embolden their religion. They will fly to meet the people persecuted and recreate the persecution themselves just to be able to talk about it because they know how effective it is an indoctrination.
Continue putting up with one another and forgiving one another freely, even if anyone has a cause for complaint against another. Just as Jehovah freely forgave you, you must also do the same. Did you hear it? Continue putting up. Well, in this case, putting up with what? Well, you know that brother who refuses to call on you in the Watchtower study? That sister who never says hello at the Kingdom Hall? That family that never invite you over? What are we going to do with all of those people? We just have to put up with them. That's what the Apostle Paul says. We have to patiently endure them. That's the same word.
Yet another form of control. Jehovah's Witnesses are forced to be friends amongst each other, and this will inevitably fail. Mark Sanderson here is saying that even if you have a cause for complaint against someone, if they're a part of your religion, they are your friends, and you have to put up with it.
Every morning, I prayed to endure this test, and it helped me feel calm.
After one court session, as I was waiting to return to my cell, I met a young female prisoner. And she and I were talking about the name of God. And she said to me, wait. I'm going to write the name on the back of this piece of paper so that I don't forget it.
О, это Багратиан и тебя уже затащила в секту.
And this girl came out after the search and said, when the inspector searched me, she looked at the piece of paper and saw God's name. And I said to her, don't worry. Now neither the inspector nor you will forget the name of God.
I just wanted to add this because it's just so delusional once you see it from the outside. Some prisoner is like, oh, that's the name of God? Oh, let me write that down on a piece of paper. I don't know how she had something to write in and on if she was a prisoner, but then the guard notices the paper, and when the prisoner tells the witness about it, since, you know, they're prisoners and that's the only source of entertainment they have, the witness is like, oh, don't worry, now both of you will know the name Jehovah, which isn't really the name of God. Imagine thinking not only that this story isn't cringy, but that this is so relevant and inspirational that it needs to be dramatically recreated for 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses around the world. Because nowadays, this cringy interaction is as close as they can get to convert someone.
But I was determined to spend my time well. So I applied myself to personal study in order to progress spiritually. I prayed earnestly to Jehovah God. Jehovah God, I would be so grateful if you assign just one brother to my cell. Soon, 2 brothers were assigned to my cell. The 3 of us tried our best to fully enjoy the meetings. Doing so helped us to endure.
This has to be quite disgusting. South Korean Jehovah's Witnesses are only being imprisoned because that's the will of the governing body. And this dramatization implies that 2 more guys being imprisoned along with this witness was directly an action performed by God. Why? Well, because it fits within the narrative of the religion, plain and simple. If the governing body changed their minds about voluntary service, that too would be hailed as the mercy of Jehovah himself.
Well, what have we learned in this discussion this afternoon? Yes, we are going to be persecuted. We're not shocked by it. We're not surprised by it. But just as sure as the fact that we will be persecuted, we are not going to compromise. We are not going to retaliate. We are not going to be bitter or resentful, but instead, through our patient endurance and with the help of our wonderful, our amazing God, Jehovah, we will come off completely victorious and we will gain the prize of everlasting life.
And that is how the CULTIEST program yet ends. By reminding Jehovah's Witnesses that not only are they going to be persecuted, but that they need to be happy about it. This was an extremely dense session filled with all flavors of thought control, manipulation, and indoctrination. Whereas Jehovah's Witnesses have lost their ability to convert others, they're proving with this convention that they definitely have what it takes to re-indoctrinate their members. We've seen probably the most overt manipulation and indoctrination from the religion yet. And it blows my mind that what you'll see about this convention in the news is just a typical fluff piece about how the Jehovah's Witnesses are about to have their convention again. And none of those reporters will ever know the disgusting propaganda they themselves have endorsed. That's why I feel it's important to talk about these conventions, because no one else is talking about them. The script alone for this video took me 4 consecutive days of writing alone, so I spent pretty much a week exclusively making this video because this session was so culty. And that's obviously time that I can't spend actually making money to pay rent or food, so I appreciate my supporters on YouTube and Patreon who help me spend the time I need to make these videos as well as I can make them. We only have 1 day left of this culty convention, and from what I've seen, it ends with a bang, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out, and I'm tired, I'll sleep now.